Nigeria. Nigeria has been becoming great for too long. The time is now that Nigeria must be great, in fact. You will know that in the next few years, Nigeria will produce 1 in every 5 of Africans. When I travel to different parts of the world and you travel to different parts of the world, if you do not meet a Nigerian doctor who is at the best in the world, you meet a Nigerian astronaut who is at the best in the world, you meet a Nigerian banker who is at the best in the world, you meet a Nigerian who is as good as anybody in the world, there is no problem with Nigerians. In fact, there are those who say that if you go to any part of the world and you do not meet a Nigerian, run away from that place because that place is not worthy of visiting. Nigeria
on Patrick Lumumba today. How do I copy his link? Mhm. Hey, everybody joining us right now. I just want to welcome you to another interesting edition of this segment on Africa, the new Africa. We are all about cultivating, developing, and building an Africa that is worth talking about, an Africa that is designed to transform the world. Today is going to be an amazing session with everybody watching, and I encourage you, if you are an Africa, both home and abroad, I encourage you to go ahead and share this podcast because what I am about to talk about is mind blowing, is transformative. It is going to bring about perspective so that we can forge a new path and help reclaim our destiny. And that is the objective of this video. So, wherever you're joining from, I encourage you to share this video right now. Invite a friend, comment, let us know in the comment section where you are joining us from. That is very, very important because we want to welcome you. We want to acknowledge you. We want to let you know you're loved, you're valued, and you are believed in. On that note, I want to start with a very interesting story. And this story is going to serve as a backdrop for this conversation. The story is a story of a dog owner, a man who owned a dog. And this man tied a chain around that dog's neck and held it to a stick. So the chain was hooked to a stick and the chain was around the dog's neck. So with that, the dog was unable to move. This dog has been used to this chain for its whole life. One day, the dog owner took out the chain. And during that period, when the dog owner took off the chain, the dog was pregnant. This dog could not move from that position because the dog has been programmed to think that there is a chain around its neck all the time. So even when the dog was released from that chain, the dog kept hanging around the same spot and was unable to move freely because the dog has been programmed subconsciously to think that the chain is the norm. That is the norm. And with that, the dog gave birth to kids. and the dog gave birth to little puppies. And so the puppies could not even like phantom what the mother was going through. And so the puppies would run around, and the mom would say to the puppies, the little puppies, please be careful, there is a chain around your neck. And the dogs were like, I don't see a chain around my neck. And so the dog has been programmed to understand that every time there is a chain on your neck. And what the dog owner did was transfer the story of the chain around its neck to its children. And so the children, in spite of them being free, were not able to experience or enjoy that freedom. Why? Because stories of that chain around the mom's neck has been spread to the little puppies. And so even though they are free, they have the consciousness of a chain, and because of that, they are limited as to how free they can be. The moral of the story is Africa for a very long time has transferred the story of slavery and slave trade, of colonialism, to its descendants. Every child born from that continent carries with him or her the story of slavery and slave trade. Even in a global economy, in a transformed world like the one we find ourselves in, young African children, adults, male and female, walk around with the consciousness of a chain, just like that dog. We walk around like the little puppies and we are free, but the consciousness of a chain. Now, our entire development projects are surrounded around the notion of protecting ourselves from the chain. That is, even though there is no chain, there is not even an incentive to put a chain around your neck, yet the consciousness we carry around in our communities and in our countries, in our villages, is the notion that someday a chain might be tied around your neck. So watch out. So instead of us developing, producing, expanding our territories with the goal to integrate with the world and bring about significant change, rather we are building based on a defense consciousness to defend ourselves should, in case the attackers, the perpetrators, our enemies, so-called enemies, are after us, we will be able to defend ourselves. This message is designed to free every child born on the African continent. This message is designed to free you from the shackles of the slave mindset. This message is designed to give you perspective so you can go around the world, interact with great minds, achieve your dreams, be all that you were created to be, and that is what this message is designed to do. There are a couple of people that I will outline in this message, and these are the two people that I've picked up for this conversation, and it's to inspire young Africans. Stop listening to these people, because their message is going to delude your thinking. It's going to cause you to be filled with bitterness. It is going to rob you of your destiny. I will have you listen to the video. You will listen to the first one. I'll make a remark. You listen to the second one. I'll make a remark. And then we will have perspective as to where we are leading as an African child, both in the diaspora. If you find yourself in America, in Europe, in Asia, in Dubai, wherever you are, in South Africa, wherever you find yourself in the world, this message will give you perspective so that together we can build a better continent, a continent that is filled with hope and dreams to go out there and create a land of opportunities. Africa can be the land of opportunities, and only if we decide, we will see that dream become a reality in our lifetime. So I'd like us to watch that video briefly, and then when I come back, we are going to make a brief remark on that video. Listen to my phone, please.
Area. Nigeria has been becoming great for too long. The time is now that Nigeria must be great, in fact. You will know that in the next few years, Nigeria will produce 1 in every 5 of Africans. When Nigeria has been becoming great for too long, the time is now that Nigeria must be great, in fact. You will know that in the next few years, Nigeria will produce 1 in every 5 of Africans. When I travel to different parts of the world and you travel to different parts of the world, if you do not meet a Nigerian doctor who is at the best in the world, you meet a Nigerian astronaut who is at the best in the world, you meet a Nigerian banker who is at the best in the world, you meet a Nigerian who is as good as anybody in the world, there is no problem with Nigerians. In fact, there are those who say that if you go to any part of the world and you do not meet a Nigerian, run away from that place, because that place is not worthy of visiting.
So if you listen to that video, that is a prominent activist, a professor in Africa. He is someone that has been traveling across the continent. He's an activist, a proponent of a message that helps to instill the spirit of Pan-Africanism. So the objective is to build an Africa for Africans. It is an amazing vision. But in this video, I just want to briefly analyze what he said. He is proud of Nigerians. He's happy about what he sees Nigerians doing across the world. And he made a very important remark, and he said, if you go anywhere in the world and you don't see a Nigerian, then that place is not worth living. This is my take on things when it comes to Professor Patrice Lumumba. He's very charismatic and eloquent. His messages have echoed across the continent of Africa. Most of us gather to listen to him speak. He represents an icon of hope. And my remark regarding his messages is, Africans, stop listening to this man. Stop listening to people that instill hate and pain and bring back the past so that they can fuel some energy of resentment in you. When you carry around this energy, this message of hate, what you do is you are misleading Africans. You're misleading the young people. Why? Because anytime they find themselves in an environment, the first thing they have in their mind is to be suspicious when they see somebody that has white skin or somebody that looks different from them. This is my thing. You might look at it, what is this man talking about? It is strange to you that people can even think like this, right? Guys, the reality is, ask yourself the question. This message that we have been listening to from birth, has it helped to change Africa? Has our continent developed because of these messages? I want to let you know that the message that brings about reconciliation is the message that will help us foster our development. The message of reconciliation is the message that will help us to become better people. When we step in an environment, or when we live, wherever we find ourselves abroad, we will keep an open mind. And because of that open mind, we'll be able to learn. And because when we learn, we'll be able to bring a lot back home and be able to develop our country. I've lived in America for close to 10 years, or more than 10 years in America. And I've been able to see things for myself firsthand. This is not something that someone told me. I've lived in communities where I've associated with white folks. And I've been able to understand their mindset and how they feel about the world. And what they care about the world really is making the world a better place. Their approach in the past might not be what we thought it to be, but I want to let you know there is enough blame to share around for everyone else.
One thing that the African leaders fail to understand, or that I've never heard talked about, is taking responsibility for the very fact that you participated, you collaborated to sell your own brothers. And when they came to the continent, you were there, you were fighting one another. Africa was not united. There was the Songhai Empire, there was the Ghana Empire. We had empires everywhere, villages fighting villages. And the people that you captured as spoils, as slaves, were the people you sold as slaves abroad. This is what they don't talk about in Africa, and all they want to do is blame, blame, and blame. And I want to let you know, Africans, the white man is not your enemy. The white man is not out here to make sure that you go down. That is not the fight. My prayer for you is that you rise up and experience the reality for yourself. Nigerians are some of the most smartest Africans I've ever seen. And a friend of mine, we were having this conversation, and I started thinking about it. I asked the question, but how many Nigerians have you seen standing up and talking evil about the white people? How many Nigerians have you seen criticizing the white people? When they go out, they understand their condition. They know where they come from. They know they want to be better. They want to create a better life for their people. The same Nigerians that you admire and talk about, Nigerians are very humble people. They will learn from everyone else. And because of that spirit of humility, that is why the world opens up to them to even teach them what you see and appreciate. The Nigeria that you see today, the Nigerians that you see today are very humble people. The pilot, the dentist, the doctor, they are very humble. And that is why they learn and they are able to bring something back and develop that continent. And where did they learn all of this from? They learned from the same white people that you are criticizing. And I'll break this down further, guys. This is going to be an interesting conversation. Put your comments in the comment section. I want you to tell me what you think and share the video. It is very important. Let's lay this to rest so we can have perspective and build a better Africa. There are two types of imagination. I would like to link it with creativity. There is creative imagination and there is synthetic imagination. Creative imagination has to do with you originating the thought. That is, if you had an idea to become a doctor and no one else on planet Earth had never had that idea, that is, no one else on planet Earth has that idea. You are the originator of that idea. Maybe flight, or maybe the Wright brothers that discovered airplane. That was the first time we saw that concept manifest on planet Earth. That is creative imagination. Now there is synthetic imagination. Synthetic imagination has to do with you looking at what others have done, put it together, and be able to come up with your own idea. So it is not original, it is synthetic. That is, you look from somewhere else, just like China today, the manufacturing of computers and technology, they copied those ideas from the West. The Americans made these prototypes, took them to China, and the manufacturing process took place there, and then the distribution across the globe. That is synthetic creativity. That is synthetic imagination at work. Now, what Nigeria has been able to do when it comes to science and technology is called synthetic creativity or synthetic imagination at work. What I'm saying is, Nigerians did not invent dentistry. They didn't invent what it means to be a pilot. They didn't invent a pilot. They didn't invent the skills of flying airplane. They learned. They learned from someone else. While you go out there and you're filled with hate and envy and speaking all this evil against the white man, the Nigerian man knows where he comes from, humbles himself, learn, come back and better his country. You come today, you see it, you admire it, because why? They have good character, they're able to humble themselves and learn from the rest of the world. And where we are going to as Africans, if we continue on this road, we are going to send this continent 100 years backward. I repeat again, where we are going as Africans, the kind of mindset and thought we have, if we continue on this road, we will send this continent 100 years backwards. It will take us a long time to get where we are right now if we don't carve for ourselves or forge a new path for ourselves. So my message to everyone watching today is that you take an inventory of your life. Look at the phone that you're using and ask yourself, did an African come up with that idea? The computer that you're browsing from, the camera, be honest. This is the reality. This is where humility comes in, so that you can be able to build yourself or make for yourself what you think is going to transform your entire continent. I'll quote from the words of Nelson Mandela. He said, "It doesn't matter if the cat is black or white, as long as it can catch a mice. It doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white, as long as it can catch a mice." And he made this quote in reference to coming out of prison after spending 27 years in prison, yet forgave the whites in South Africa, united a nation, and South Africa is one of the most prosperous nations in Africa today. So he said the objective is to look at those who share your vision and not the color of their skin. And he is quoting this, making reference to a leader from China, one of the first presidents of China, Deng Xiaoping, who came about with the development of China, which led to what we see today, in the China we see today. And what he did was, he was able to come to America and say, hey, China has been closed for a very long time. We have been closed to the rest of the world, and it's hurting us. We are broke, we are poor. And he said the objective is to get the mice. The objective is not the cat. Today we are focused on the cat. We are focused if the cat is a black cat or a white cat. We are not focused on the real issue, which is the mice. The mice is poverty. The mice is stagnation. The mice is the lack of education. Does it matter who will teach you as long as you be free from poverty? Does it matter who will heal you? It's better you die with the sickness in your body if a white man is the one to operate you. These are some things that we have to face if we will want a change and build a better Africa. This is the reality. This is the reality. We should get to the place where we face the real oppressors. Poverty, illiteracy. I would like for you to listen to another video or watch another video, and then I'll make a remark, because we are going somewhere together as Africans. I believe that this is our time. Most importantly, I think with my heart, my whole heart, that Africa is at an inflection point. This is an inflection point. This is the point where Africa needs to turn around and experience a better life, experience a better continent, experience a better country. An inflection point. I will let you do your research on what that means. An inflection point. That is where Africa is. If you miss this, if you tilt this to the wrong direction, it's going to take us 100 years again to get here. So I would like for you to listen to this video and watch it as well. And then when we come back, I'll make my remarks.
Why is it that we are unable to come together and speak our truth and demand that what needs to be done must be done? It's because they defeated us where it matters the most, which is the mind. It started with the missionaries in Africa long before slavery. They were sent by the Roman Catholic Church to subdue the Africans, make them believe that when you get slapped, turn the other cheek, and that your riches are in heaven. So by the time they followed with the colonizers to reap and rape Africa, we were already brainwashed. We were meant to believe everything African was bad and undesirable, and everything European was better. And the same brainwashing continued as our children were taken out of Africa enslaved. It continued on the plantations, color gradations, light skin versus dark skin, field workers versus kitchen workers. To this day, we suffer from the legacy of slavery and the legacy of colonization. For how long are we going to continue to suffer from this affliction?
Okay, you've heard that. Again, I want to repeat to every Africans, the white man is not your enemy. And my question to you is, let's imagine that you sat in a theater, watch the speaker articulate. When you leave that theater, Are you filled with hope? Or are you filled with despair and anger? You're filled with rage when you're leaving that cinema hall listening to a speaker speak like this. Africa need new leaders. And I was just saying this to a friend. Be very careful when you take advice from anyone from Africa, especially our elders above the age of 40. Somehow there is some hidden pain. Very few that you will meet that will be able to inspire you and ignite hope in you without going this road. Be careful when you take advice from anyone as a young African. Be careful. I repeat again. Young Africans, your destiny is in your hands. In the next 20, 30 years, the world you decide to create today will be the world you will live in your old age, and the world that your children will grow up in. Be careful when you take advice from people above the age of 40 from Africa, because their messages, if you're not careful, filter it. If they speak words of hope, take it. But if they are critical about other people, be very careful when you take messages from them. Some of the words they'll keep telling you is you're young, and you'll never be anything, and they'll tell you your time is coming, and they'll fill you with pain and anger and all these negative messages, and before you notice, you're 40, you're old, you're gone, and your life has been wasted. I speak with this much passion because I know where I would have been if it was not for these old people and their words in my ears. And I had to break free from that, understanding that there's more in me. And I've seen great people, Mark Zuckerberg, great Americans doing amazing things. They'll keep telling you, you are young. And what they know is better. You go to college, you come back, they still want to teach you, even after you've learned. Why did you send me in the school? Why did you send me to school in the first place? Was it indoctrination or was it education? Education is so I can be able to think for myself. Indoctrination is I'm teaching you what to think. Teach me to think for myself, not teaching me what to think. And that is what we have been going through for years right now, for more than 60 years. So I want to let you know, it is very, very painful when you let yourself be a victim. You rid yourself from any power to act and take control over a situation. When you classify yourself as a victim, you dismantle yourself from any power to take action and change your situation. Just like that dog sitting and thinking that there is a chain around its neck. Slavery is gone 400 years ago, but yet we are living that dream of slavery more than the Israelites, even after being tortured in Egypt for how many years. We still live with the memories of slavery. We live with the memories of colonialism. We have had independence, yet we fight each other. And our continent is getting worse than even when we were colonized. Take responsibility, Africans. Say, I refuse to think that any other human being, be it white or black, has the power to control me to the extent that I cannot be able to regain myself and be able to take an action that would define my own life. I refuse to think that way. What you are simply doing is refusing that victim status. You are rejecting that victim status. That you are made by God, you are a sovereign individual with your own mind and your own thoughts to be able to reason and carve your own path in the world. And not be subject to some ideology that you don't even know when it happens. Some of them talking about they were not around when all of these things happen. They have been taught and indoctrinated. I've seen the consequence on this thing on my own country. I've seen the consequence of this rhetoric and this kind of thinking on my own country and what it has done to young people. They are amazing white people and they are terrible white people. Let me be honest. They are amazing black people and they are terrible black people. And I want to let you know, the race, the battle is not against flesh and blood. It's against principalities and powers. The battle is against greed. The battle is against corruption. The battle is against dishonesty. The battle is against showing up late all the time for meetings. That is the battle. The battle is saying, I will do it and I give you the money, you don't do it. That is the battle. The white man cannot do that for us. That is the battle. To move forward, I tell you, you have to forgive. You have to forgive, or else your life will remain stagnant. A preacher once said, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die. When you refuse to forgive, you've drunk the poison and you are looking at the oppressor to die, but you are the one with the poison and you are the one who will eventually die. If we don't forgive and move forward, we will eventually die. And that is why I said, if we don't take action now at this inflection point, the world is open to a lot of opportunities. If our mind is bent on living in the past, we will miss these opportunities, and that poison will drown us. Very soon it will be a minute to find you wherever you are through this mobile device, and your hate speech will just cut you off from opportunities. Your hate speech will isolate you from opportunities and ideas that can change your life. Let your mind be filled with positivity. No matter how hurt you've been in life, or no matter how life has turned against you, you can be able to build yourself again, regain your strength, forgive your oppressors. Don't hold them in your heart. Let go. I said, let it go. And regain yourself, regain your strength, and say, I will not let your actions define who I become. I repeat that again. I will not let your actions define who I will become. I will choose to be a better person. The person who forgives is the bigger person. The person who forgives is the bigger person. And doors open for you when you do so. Today, I just came to speak to Africans, both home and abroad, so we can have perspective. There is more to unpack on this subject. There's more that we will unpack on this subject that will help us to have political perspective, economic perspective, a spiritual perspective that will help us to become better people, so that we can rebuild our continent, take charge of our destiny, and be able to forge a new path. And again, I repeat, some of these old folks that I've just shown you on the screen, you've listened to them, you've heard their rhetorics, and my question again to them, if they are watching this video, come here and challenge me. If you think what I'm saying, it doesn't make sense, or it's not the truth, I want you to come here and challenge me. Professor Patrice Lumumba, if you think what I'm saying is lies, come up here and challenge me. Your rhetoric is fueling anger and pain in the minds and the heart of Africans. And please stop. When you come, show them how far we have come. There was a time we didn't have cars, now we do. There was a time we didn't live in a continent this free, now we do. There's a time we didn't have mobile phones, now we do. There's a time we didn't have the social media, the internet, now we do. There is something to celebrate. There was a time we didn't even have the opportunity to read the Bible. Now everyone has access to read the Bible. Now we do. There is a time we could not gather and preach freedom and democracy. Now we do. All of these are milestones and progress that we should celebrate. We should celebrate and move forward. There is a brighter future ahead of us. We can only get there fast if we forgive, let go, and be able to integrate with the rest of the world. China tried staying in their own corner for a very long time, and it hurt their economy so bad. How long are we going to keep going down that road just to realize it is a waste of time? God created this world, and we are all one people. We are all children of God. One people. Color, race, gender, we are one people. Created in the image of God. I'm preaching this message with this much passion because I know where we could be if we can get rid of this hate and this bitterness. You might have a platform to speak, but I care about the old grandmother in Kusari who is struggling to put food on the table. That if they heard the good news, they heard the good message, development will come into their nation, come into their communities, and they'll be able to have a safe road to go to the market and sell their products, sell their produce from the farm. I'm saying this because there is a child, while you have a platform to speak, there is a child somewhere in a small village in Africa that don't have even access to the internet. And your message is hurting them, is depriving other Africans from thinking creatively, integrating with the world, and bringing light and electricity and internet into that community so that child can benefit from the development that the world has emerged to become. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I know that you have the privilege, but some children don't have this privilege. And I want them to be able to experience what you are experiencing. Sometimes when you hold the mic, you forget about the woman that is hopping tomatoes. You forget about the man who is driving a truck. You forget about the bike rider that is all they know to be able to make a living and provide for their family. I care about these people. And some of them will never ever get the opportunity to even be on social media. Let's open up to the world. A closed mind is a closed destiny. A closed mind is a closed destiny. An unforgiving heart is going to perish. So I encourage you, Africans, take your destiny into your hands. Open up to the world. See everyone with the eyes of hope. Unless that white man does you dirty, show them love. If they do you dirty, you run away from them. There are good white people as well as bad white people. There are good black people as well as terrible black people. There are good Mexican people as well as awful Mexican people. It is the same across the world. I've met some amazing white people and I've met some awful white people. It will never make me give a judgment or conclude that every white person is evil. You, wherever you find yourself, you know in your community, not everybody there is a saint. You know where you live, even in your family, not everybody there is a saint. There are some awful people in your family. You know that. You cannot stand them. Even when you come and preach to me, you go out there, you can't stand some people in your family. So even when we are speaking African Unite, within Africa, African countries are still fighting among themselves within Africa to divide, to go their separate ways. Still within Africa, we are not saints. We are not saints. And again, the notion that Africa was one before the white man comes. Please read your history. We had different chiefdoms. Right now, the traditions and the cultures and the languages that we have internally is a contributing factor to us not developing than even any colonialism. I think I'll stop here today. But again, this message goes out to Patrice Lumumba and Dr. Arikana. I encourage you, share this video, let it reach them. You have not gone too far that you can turn back. I want you to reconsider what you're teaching and ask yourself the question, my people different because of this message? And I heard her talking about their truth. And I want to let you know, when you say your truth, it is a very scary statement. Watch out for that kind of statement. Your truth. That is, it is subjective to you. You don't live in a world by yourself. You live in a world with other people. And when you want a truth for a continent, let that truth be universal. Let that truth be a truth that you will think that another human being across the world will look at that truth and it will mean something to them as well. Subjective truth is dangerous. I repeat, subjective truth is dangerous. A truth that is based on your analysis is dangerous. Many people have gone astray because of their truth today. That word, their truth, is a left ideology in the West. Watch out for your truth. And as I wrap up again, the white man is not your enemy. Stop listening to these old folks and their rhetorics of pain and anger and bitterness that does not help you to forge ahead. When they have conferences, you go there. If they are not talking about how you can make money and better your life, don't go to those conferences. I repeat, if those conferences don't have any message, read the message before you buy a ticket. Let that conference be a conference that can empower you economically, that can teach you how to integrate with the rest of the world, that can teach you how to make money and better your life, that can teach you how to become a good human being in society. If that message doesn't foster these goals, how you can build amazing families? If those messages, now Africa, we are having divorce left and right. If we didn't have this, if that message, the message they are preaching, is not helping you to have a good life, choose a good career path, Be able to make money. Network with people around the world, because that is the only way you'll be able to develop yourself fast. Today is to network and teach you how to build amazing communities. If these messages are not fostering this agenda, if it is to fuel hate, fuel resentment towards the white man, and make you feel bitter, don't attend those conferences. Let it be dry so those ideologies can die. I said, let those conferences be dry so that those ideologies can die, and so that Africa can live again. Africa can thrive again. We can have a fresh perspective on our continent. Everyone, again, I repeat, if you're in Africa and you're don't stop listening to the people above the age of 40. If they are not encouraging you or giving you perspective on how to integrate with the world and make your life a better place, don't listen to them. Listen, shut your ears and walk away from them. This is the time that you have to stand up and design the kind of world you want to live in when you're 60, when you're 70. And you'll be proud to see your children live in that same community. Most of these people are going down very soon. They'll be dead very soon. And they will not live to see the pain that you'll be through. So to stand up now and act for yourself and build that world that you want to see. I love you guys so much. I'm praying for you. And we have just started. We are taking this around the world. We have supporters already across the globe. People from every continent. This is not a race for black people. It is a race designed to empower the black people for the world. It is a race designed, it's a mission, a vision to empower the Africans for the world. And if that is the goal, we will have even white, even Asians empowering us, supporting us, both spiritually, morally, financially, so that we can be able to develop our continent for the world. If it's to develop Africa for Africa, then we are going to struggle to even do anything for ourselves by ourselves, because the world doesn't work like that. I said the world doesn't work like that. So guys, I love you so much. It's Reverend Roland again. I'm super excited that you joined me and listened to me. Share the video, invite your friends. I'll be coming up every day, 5 days a week. We'll be having these conversations on empowering ourselves, coming up with strategies, updating you guys on the recent development on this subject, on this mission, so that together we can design a better continent, both home and abroad. Our contributions, our unanimous contributions and effort, both home and abroad, to make ourselves a better continent and a better black person around the world. Until next time, guys.